In the vast golden sands of southern Egypt, a true giant of history left his mark forever. This was the great Pharaoh, Ramses II. He was a powerful ruler, a mighty warrior, and a master builder. Nearly 3,000 years ago, he ordered his workers to carve two incredible temples directly into the side of a mountain. These were the temples of Abu Simbel. They were not built with blocks of stone placed on top of each other. Instead, they were sculpted from the living rock itself. This colossal undertaking was a message to the world, a declaration of his power and his divine connection to the gods, intended to stand for all eternity. The larger of the two temples is a breathtaking sight. 4 enormous statues of Ramses II, each over 20 meters tall, are seated at its entrance. They stare out across the horizon with an air of serene authority, guarding the sacred space within. These statues are so huge, they make anyone standing before them feel incredibly small. They were designed to impress and intimidate anyone approaching from the southern lands of Nubia, reminding them of Egypt's might. The pharaoh is shown as a god on earth, a powerful protector of his kingdom, his face carved with incredible detail and a timeless, calm expression that has watched the centuries pass. Beside this great temple, Ramses II built another, smaller temple. This one was dedicated to his favorite wife, Queen Nefertari, and to the goddess Hathor. It is a beautiful and romantic gesture, showing the deep love the pharaoh had for his queen. The front of this temple also has impressive statues, showing Ramses and Nefertari standing side by side as equals. This was highly unusual for the time and shows just how important Nefertari was to him. Inside, the walls are covered with delicate carvings that tell stories of the queen and the goddess, a celebration of love, beauty, and divine femininity. The ancient Egyptians were not just brilliant builders, they were also masterful astronomers. Ramses II designed his great temple with a celestial secret. Twice a year, on approximately February the 22nd and October the 22nd, something magical happens. The first rays of the morning sun travel deep into the temple, penetrating over 60 meters into the mountain. The light illuminates the inner sanctuary, shining upon the statues of 3 gods and Ramses II himself. Only the statue of Ptah, the god of darkness, remains in the shadows. This was a powerful religious event linking the pharaoh directly to the sun god Ra and reinforcing his divine status to his people. For thousands of years, the temples of Abu Simbel stood undisturbed, bearing silent witness to the rise and fall of empires. They survived the desert winds and the scorching sun. But in the middle of the 20th century, they faced a new and terrible threat. This threat did not come from an invading army, but from the promise of progress. Egypt was building the Aswan High Dam, a massive engineering project designed to control the annual floods of the River Nile and generate electricity for the entire country. It was a symbol of a modern, forward-looking nation, a project that promised a better future for millions of people. The construction of the dam created a huge artificial lake, which we now know as Lake Nasser. While this lake was essential for the dam's success, its slowly rising waters posed a grave danger to the ancient monuments along the Nile's banks. The temples of Abu Simbel were located directly in the path of the floodwaters. Within a few years, these magnificent structures, carved with such care and precision, were destined to be submerged forever beneath the waves. The world was faced with a terrible choice: lose these priceless treasures of human history, or find a way to stop the unstoppable. The impending crisis at Abu Simbel captured the world's attention. It was a heartbreaking prospect to imagine these incredible temples, with their giant statues and intricate carvings, disappearing from view. The Egyptian government knew it could not solve this problem alone. It was simply too big, too complex, and too expensive. The story of the temple's plight was shared across the globe, in newspapers and on television screens. It became a powerful symbol of a shared human heritage at risk, a question of what we as a global community were willing to do to protect our collective past from being washed away. In response to this urgent plea, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, launched an international appeal. It was a call to action on an unprecedented scale. They asked nations from all over the world to contribute money, expertise, and support to save Abu Simbel. The response was overwhelming. More than 50 countries came together, putting aside political differences to work towards a common goal. This was a landmark moment, the first time so many nations had united not for war or politics, but to preserve a piece of history that belonged to everyone. With the world's support secured, the next challenge was to figure out exactly how to save the temples. Several ideas were proposed, including building a protective dam around the site, or even encasing the temples in a giant glass bubble underwater. But the most ambitious and daring plan was chosen: to move the entire complex to higher ground. This meant cutting the temples, which were part of a solid mountain, into massive blocks, transporting them up the cliff, and reassembling them perfectly in a new, safe location. It was an idea that seemed almost impossible, a task fit for the pharaohs themselves. The rescue operation began in 1964 and was a masterpiece of engineering and international cooperation. A team of archaeologists, engineers, and skilled workers from around the world descended on this remote corner of Egypt. First, they had to build a temporary dam to hold back the rising lake waters while they worked. Then, with incredible precision, they began to cut the temples and the surrounding rock face into more than 1,000 blocks. Each block weighed between 20 and 30 tons. They used handsaws and simple tools to make the cuts as fine as possible, ensuring the ancient art would not be damaged. Moving these colossal blocks was a monumental challenge. They were carefully numbered, cataloged, and then lifted by giant cranes up the 65-meter cliff face. It was a slow and painstaking process, requiring immense skill and concentration. Every single piece had to be handled with the utmost care to prevent any damage. Once at the top, the blocks were transported to the new site, which had been carefully chosen to mimic the original location and its orientation to the sun. A huge man-made concrete dome was built to serve as an artificial mountain, ready to receive the ancient temple pieces. The final stage of the project was the reassembly. This was like solving the world's largest and most important jigsaw puzzle. Each numbered block had to be put back in its exact original position. The engineers and restorers worked tirelessly to fit the pieces together, leaving joins that were almost invisible to the naked eye. They even managed to recreate the landscape around the temples, building artificial hills to make the new location feel just like the old one. The entire project took 4 years of intense effort, a testament to what human ingenuity and teamwork can achieve when united for a common cause. Today, visitors from every corner of the globe travel to Abu Simbel to witness its magnificence. They stand in awe before the giant statues of Ramses II, just as people did 3,000 years ago. They walk through the cool, dark halls and admire the vibrant carvings that tell stories of gods and pharaohs. The temples look so perfect in their new home that it is hard to believe they were ever moved at all. The site is a major tourist destination, bringing vital income to the local community and allowing people to connect directly with Egypt's incredible ancient past, a past that was almost lost forever. The incredible rescue of Abu Simbel had a lasting impact that went far beyond saving just one monument. It sparked a global movement for heritage preservation. The success of the international campaign led to the creation of the UNESCO World Heritage List, a register of places of outstanding natural or cultural value that are considered to belong to all of humanity. The idea was simple but profound. Some places are so special that their protection is the responsibility of the entire world. Abu Simbel was the first of many such rescue campaigns, setting a powerful precedent for future generations. What makes the story of Abu Simbel so inspiring is not just the ancient wonder, but the modern marvel of its rescue. It shows us that we have a shared responsibility to be guardians of our history. The temples stand today as a dual monument. They are a monument to the power and vision of Ramses II, but they are also a monument to international cooperation and our collective desire to save the treasures of our past. It proves that when nations work together, we can overcome enormous challenges and achieve extraordinary things, ensuring our shared story is not erased by time or progress. In the end, Abu Simbel teaches us a vital lesson. It tells us that our history is not just something to be studied in books, it is a living, breathing part of our world that needs to be protected. The story of its journey from an ancient cliffside to its new home is a powerful reminder that heritage connects us all. It is a legacy we inherit from those who came before us, and a gift we must preserve for those who will come after. The sun still shines into the temple's inner sanctuary, a timeless connection between the ancient world and our own. a beacon of hope for the preservation of our world's wonders.